Hi, and welcome back to Primary Progression. Today we're going to be looking at 10 top tips for children returning back to school and how to just make it that little bit smoother. So, whether you have sighed in relief that you're going to get some personal time back, that your children are returning to school and you're very excited for them, or if you're a little bit nervous and worried about the mornings ahead, or that they're not going to enjoy it, or that it might be their first time going to school, here are some top tips that may help that transition be a little bit smoother. Top tip number 1. Now, I can't stress this enough. Label everything. And I mean absolutely everything. There are so many times in the classroom where a child can't find something, or after PE when they've got changed, they've lost their top, and I go to the front of the classroom and I find 3 tops, none with a name on. None of them can decide whose it belongs to. An easy way to get around that is to label everything. Label their PE uniform, label their school uniform. If you want to, label their socks. But it's not just clothing that I think you should label. It's really important to label water bottles. So many children come to school with the same water bottle. You do not want them sharing. Label their pencil case, label their backpack, just label everything. Then there's no arguments, there's nothing that can get misplaced. No one can pick something up saying it's theirs because it looks like theirs, because it will have your child's name on it. And it just saves the hassle of if something gets lost and you're not being able to find it because there's no name. So, label everything. Top tip number 2, growth spurts. Now, we know that all children obviously grow, but sometimes they like to surprise us and they shoot up within a week. Sometimes it feels like they went to bed tiny and the next day they woke up and they're now a giant. So with growth spurts, you have to remember it's not just at the beginning of the year. All throughout the year, keep an eye on your child and their uniform. Make sure that they are going to school in shoes that are comfortable. I have had it in the classroom before where children are taking their shoes off because their feet are uncomfortable because the shoes are too tight. Now, obviously, it's not easy to always be buying shoes or uniform for your children, so just try and be prepared. Hand-me-downs are great. Schools usually have an area or an option in the school for you to have pre-loved clothing. If you can go out and get it yourself, fantastic. If not, contact your school and see what they can do for you. But all through the year, make sure that you are checking when your child has that magical growth spurt and you need to upgrade their clothing. As well as normal uniform, some schools have different uniform for everyday wear and summer wear. So if your child wants to wear some shorts or a skirt or the school uniform summer dresses, they probably won't fit in the one they had last year. So remember, growth spurts happen. They like to sneak up on us. So just keep checking the uniform throughout the year and you'll be fine. Top tip number 3, timetables. We have all been there where a child has come up to you at the end of the day or as you arrive at school or just before bedtime and say, "Oh, Mum, Dad, I've got PE tomorrow. Oh, we're doing some cooking tomorrow. I totally forgot. Sorry, can you get the things ready?" And then there is mad panic. You don't have the time. It's stressful. So get to know your child's timetable. There will be designated days that they will probably use the food technology area and have outdoor and indoor PE. Ask the teacher what days they are if the school already hasn't sent out a newsletter saying what they are. If you know them and have them written down somewhere, you can be prepared for them. And then you can help remind your child, "Oh, you've got this week. What do you think we need to get ready?" And help them with that little bit of independence and save you the stress. Top tip number 4, back to school discussions. Going back to school can be a bit nerve-wracking for some children. Some may be incredibly excited, but some might be worried they haven't been in that environment for a while, or they're worried that they might not be able to do the activities that are in the new year group, as things do get harder each year. So have those conversations early on in the year, but not just then. Have them throughout the entire year. Ask them, how are they doing? ask open-ended questions. So an open-ended question is one where they cannot just go, yes, no, maybe, stuff. We've all been there. Oh, did you have a nice day today? Yeah. What did you do? Stuff. The usual. School stuff. I don't know. Well, with these discussions, try and pinpoint what you want to ask specifically and have them open-ended. So try asking, what subject are you really looking forward to this year? Now, by saying what subject instead of is there a subject, you are forcing them to really think about it, and it will start to get them thinking and prepared for what lies ahead. To find out if they're concerned, try, what's your least favourite subject? And then they'll tell you, and then you can start to ask them why it's their least favourite. Maybe they're finding something difficult, or maybe they just don't enjoy that subject, where you can then learn on their passion for it with them. If they're struggling with it, you can then talk to their teacher or help them at home, or look on Primary Progression and see what we have to help. Top tip number 5, flexibility. And no, I don't mean the kind of flexibility where you can bend backwards in gymnastics or dance or ballet. The flexibility I'm talking about is when things change and we don't expect it. Children like routine. I mean, I like routine. Lots of people like routine. But children especially like a routine. They like to know what is coming and what is going to happen. Sometimes in a school, it's not possible to stick to that routine. Yes, every teacher will try and have a timetable that they stick by. When I'm in the classroom, I have a timetable, I have it stuck up on my board, the kids know what to expect, the staff know what to expect, I know what to expect. But there's always that day where on the timetable it says art, you're meant to be making pots out of clay, and the clay hasn't arrived at school. The timetable has to change. I can't make it without the resources. So, sometimes children will find that difficult. So if you have conversations with them early on about what their timetable is and that it's okay if things change, it will help them prepare for the future. When having those conversations, really think about their emotions. Sometimes children may react in a way that you might not like when they come home if the day hasn't gone to plan. They may come home upset. They may come home and just go to their bedroom and say they had a rubbish day. They may come home really cross and take it out in a different way. This is where you need to help them process their emotions and help them with their flexibility. Explain to them that you understand how they feel. It is hard when things change when we don't want them to. Explain to them that you are there for them if they want to talk to you. If they don't, then that's fine. Help them in ways to process their emotions. As we get older, we get much better at dealing with this. But when you're young, being flexible can be really hard. So, just make sure you have open dialogue with your child and the class teacher. Sometimes they will send a message out saying that something is going to change that week. PE might be on a different day. They might not have resources and an activity might get cancelled. It's raining, you can't go outside. Make sure you stay informed to help them prepare for things that you know are going to change, and then have those open conversations if they come home in a bad mood or just a bit upset or down, or they just happen to say, oh, we didn't get to do this today, I was really looking forward to it. Have those conversations and have that open communication so that they know it's okay for things to change. They can be flexible and it will happen eventually. Top tip number 6, independence. Now, this can be a tricky one, especially after the summer holidays when children are relying on you more and more because you're there all the time and spending time with them. When they're at school, they don't have you to go and get their pencil case or put their bag on the hook or put things away for them. But at home, they know that you're there, and sometimes you may do it with them, you may do certain things for them, which is perfectly fine. But at school, there is one teacher to 30 children. It's not possible to get everything for everyone. They need to have some independence, and that will help them for their future greatly. So, what can you do at home in preparation to help them? Now, this can be just before school starts, or this can be all throughout the year to get them ready for the next year group or just life in general. One thing that you can do is have the children work with you at first. the night before to lay out their clothes for the next day. Once you've done this enough times, they will know the routine and they will be able to get their clothes ready themselves independently. Now that saves you a job and lets them learn some independence. And as the children get older, you can add other activities to this. You can have them prepare their lunches with you, either the night before or the morning of. You can have them prepare their own breakfast. Obviously, this depends on their age and what you are comfortable with doing. But find some small activities that you think that at first you can do with them and then slowly withdraw that support so that they can learn to do it independently. This will help them with tasks in the classroom, such as they don't know where a pen or pencil is. Instead of saying, "Oh, I don't know where it is, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing," they will get up and look for one on their own. They will be able to get their packed lunch boxes out. They will be able to tidy up efficiently. They will be able to help themselves and support one another effectively. Top tip number 7, routines. We love a routine. As we spoke earlier in the flexibility section, we know that sometimes they don't go to plan, but having a routine is key for children to be able to focus and understand what is happening and get prepared for the next day. The routine I'm talking about is when they get home. It doesn't matter what your routine is, as long as it works for you and your family, but make sure it's consistent. When they come home, do they have a specific time that they do their homework? Are they allowed to play on a console or a PC? Do you have some family time? What time is dinner time? And especially, what time do they have a bath and go to bed? Bedtime routines are key. I cannot stress that enough. It is so important that children have consistent night routines. Not just when they're really little in reception or year 1, but even in year 6. When I'm in class, I have children that are so tired because they were up all night on their game console and they didn't sleep. That sets them up for a really poor day. They feel exhausted, they don't want to learn, they get frustrated because they're not being able to access what they're doing as easily as normal because they're so tired. So make sure you have a really clear bedtime routine, or just in general a back from school routine. Set your child up to have a great day. Top tip number 8, breakfast. Now, this may seem like an obvious one, but I've had a lot of children that have been in a rush in the morning or have just been a bit stubborn and they haven't had breakfast. And when they get to school, they really start to feel it. Having breakfast in the morning is so important. It sets you up for a really good day. So you need to make sure you're having a hearty breakfast with your children. Not something that shouldn't be had for breakfast. I've had children in the past come to the class and be really ill. One of them was sick and it turned out he'd had a strawberry milkshake for breakfast and it did not agree with him. So make sure that you are having some kind of cereal or toast or something sensible that works for you and your family that your kids enjoy, that you enjoy making or preparing. If they're older, they can make their own cereal in the morning, but you still need to encourage them to do so. So please make sure your children have a hearty breakfast every day. Top tip number 9, meet the class teacher. Now, this may seem simple, but it can be really helpful both for you and the class teacher. Your child will come home every day saying, "Oh, Miss this did that," or "Mr. this did that." And you'll be like, "Oh, amazing." But if you went to school, could you point out who the teacher was? Do you really want to wait all the way until it's parents' evening for you to meet the teacher? If your child's school offers anything like coffee mornings or a meet and greet, go to them. If you're unavailable, ask for just 2 minutes somewhere just to say hi. It will also help the teacher know who you are. So if there's any concerns or any celebrations, they know who to speak to on the playground. And something that I think a lot of parents might forget sometimes is that dismissing children at the end of the school day can be a bit tricky. We want to make sure that children are safe and they obviously go with the right person. If you have made yourself known to us and your face, it will be so easy to go, "Oh, your mum's over there. Oh, your dad's there. Oh, Nan's picking you up. I recognise their faces." That's okay. It means that processes like dismissal or greeting or trying to catch you for 2 minutes to explain something goes that much faster for the teacher, and you are updated a lot sooner. So, long story short, do your best to meet your child's class teacher. It will really help you and them. And finally, top tip number 10. Take it one day at a time. Now, all these top tips are amazing in my opinion, but obviously things don't always go to plan. Just remember, you alone, just by watching this, are trying to do what's right for your children or your child. Just take it one day at a time. If you had a bad day yesterday, it's okay. Take a deep breath, reset, and try again. If you can do that, your children will follow suit and they will see that they can learn to take it one day at a time too. Just because one day didn't go how you want it to, doesn't mean all the others won't. Well, that's our 10 top tips on how you can help your child return to school smoothly. If you liked what you saw today, please don't forget to hit that like button. Maybe drop a comment if there's anything else you would like us to include in a new video. And don't forget to subscribe. Press that little bell so that you get notifications on when new videos are uploaded. Thank you again for watching. I'm Hannah. This was Primary Progression. Have a great day.